So, Watse Sybesma, welcome to Living Proof. It's nice to meet you.
Well, likewise.
So, I made an attempt at pronouncing your name there, which is Dutch, as you pointed out to me before we started recording. Could you tell us your full name? Because it's a really interesting one.
Yeah, so my full name is Dr Zhao-He Watse Sybesma. So there's some, the latter part is Dutch. Former one is Chinese.
Excellent. And that speaks of a diverse heritage, obviously. And you mentioned as well that the Dutch part of your name is Frisian specifically.
Yeah, indeed. So sorry, Frisian listeners. It's actually Frisian, which I don't speak. So, I might even be pronouncing the Dutch part or Frisian part of my name wrong, for all I know.
Well, I've met very few people doing these podcasts who don't have fascinating names with fascinating stories behind them. So thank you for sharing a little bit of yours. But we're speaking to you because you are part of the Simons Postdoctoral Fellowships here at INI, which means that you're affiliated with one of the research programs that's happening at the moment, and you're then going to spend 6 months after that at the Faculty of Maths. So let's hear a little bit about that and your experience of it. Which program are you associated with at INI?
So I am involved in the program Black Holes as Bridges between Number Theory and Machine Learning. It's mostly the first part I'm really involved in, so black holes and number theory or quantum information actually more. But that makes actually the machine learning part even more interesting because it's not really something I would, normally do. So it's really nice to see some of the pole carriers of this field pass by. So that's really nice.
It's an interesting situation to be in for anyone doing this kind of fellowship because the idea is that you are postdoctoral, so you're quite early on in your career. And yet you're researching and working alongside quite a diverse group of younger and older, more senior researchers. How does that feel for you at this point?
So I think what helps quite a bit is that the amount of people at the same moment attending the program is roughly 20 to 30 people, or at least it has been so far. And that also takes away any of the barriers, I would say, of approaching more senior people. I mean, there's so few people, there's, nobody can really hide. And it's also quite nice that people actually do make the effort of, appearing at the institute rather than wandering off and, God knows where they go.
Excellent. So that does sound very approachable. So you're going to be here for the length of this program, which ends at the end of this year. And then afterwards, you'll be not very far away at all, just a stone's throw on the other side of the quad here, working at DAMPT, the Department for Applied Maths and Theoretical Physics. Have you met anyone from there? Do you have any idea what that will hold for you?
Yes, I've met some people from there already. So my mentor in this program, so she is in the theoretical physics part of DAMPT. So I got acquainted to her. I mean, I knew her a little bit from conferences and such, but it's nice that this fellowship actually gave me the opportunity to really get acquainted with her and her work, and also the other way around. So yeah, I've already met with her, and I'm also participating every now and then in things the group does there. They have this wonderful thing that like at 11 o'clock they go for tea and biscuits, and well that's a very nice atmosphere in which one can talk about research. So to that level I've gotten acquainted, and yeah.
Oh, that's really good to hear. And I'm really interested how you came to be here as well. So tell us a little bit about how you became a mathematician. How did you discover mathematics? Was it a young age or a more advanced age? And how did you find this fellowship?
I suppose I've always been good in just, solving equations and such, which does not necessarily constitute of doing mathematics, I suppose. but it did always imply that somehow I would automatically levitate towards, well, the more theoretically inclined things. I mean, it was quite quickly clear to me that I don't really like the very, engineering type of things. And yeah, before I knew it, all of a sudden I was doing a PhD back in the Netherlands at Utrecht University. And it turned out that I really liked doing research. So then I started to pursue a career in, doing research. Then I went to the University of Iceland, where I stayed for, 5.5 years, also thanks to COVID a little bit. And it turned out that one of the professors in Iceland is a co-organizer of this program. Now one has to already emphasize the fact that with 350,000 people constituting the nation of Iceland, there are not so many professors. So it didn't come as a surprise to me that, one of the professors who was organizing the program here did at some point in some sub-sentence mention, oh yeah, and then there's something about these fellowships. So then I asked him about it, and then, that's basically how I found out about this.
It's a really interesting situation to find yourself in such a small country, as you say, of only 350,000 people. What stimulated you to choose Iceland? It's
mostly that it's this specific professor with whom I wanted to work. I found, his work is just really inspiring. And then I wrote a grant to go to Iceland, and the grant was got granted. And yeah, before I knew it, I was there for such a long time.
Yeah, was it long enough to get a grounding in the language, or was everyone keen to try their English?
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah, I did. I did learn quite a bit of the language with sort of at its height. I was able to actually do some outreach event about black holes in Icelandic to children. So, talking about balloons and popping them and having some analogy with black holes. I was quite, proud of that. But it's, I can already feel it fading whilst being here. Yeah.
Not so many opportunities to practice it outside of Iceland, I guess. But,
indeed.
But that's really fascinating to hear. Thanks for sharing it. So a really interesting journey you've had so far. This is, I would hope, a good next step in that career. Do you have any eyes on the future in terms of what you might apply for after this fellowship has ended? Is that something that's keeping you busy at the moment?
Yes, it's keeping me busy at the moment. Not quite awake at night. We're not to that point yet. But, as the fellowship for me will be finished by the end of August 2024, it's important that I already, apply to next positions. I have some, grant applications which are still in the running. But most of all, so whilst being in Iceland, also, it being a remote place, I was not keen on traveling too much. Whereas from here, it's so much easier on the one hand, and on the other hand, it's also just a place which people for scientific reasons visit more often. So that I'm quite sure is already a huge boon to my scientific career.
Well, that's really interesting to hear. So yes, you're both at a hub and more able to leave it. So,
exactly.
Yeah, two interesting choices there. Well, I wish you all the best of luck with the rest of the programme here for the rest of the year and at DAMT, and we look forward to finding out what your next step is once it's been confirmed. But thank you very much for your time this afternoon. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you.
Likewise. Thanks.